The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council stood high above the clouds of Duran Prime, glowing with blue lights and tall crystal spires. Inside, 27 alien leaders sat around a giant circle. They came from every corner of the galaxy, some with feathers, some with scales, and some with cold metal skin. All of them were watching the center of the room. In the center stood Chancellor Vorail, leader of the council. His voice was calm, but his eyes burned with anger. "The human threat," he said, "must be removed permanently." The chamber was silent. No one disagreed. Not this time. Earth had refused council laws. They had built weapons in secret. They had broken trade rules. And worst of all, they had refused to kneel. Years ago, the council had tried peace. Earth laughed. The council sent warnings. Earth ignored them. Last time they sent a messenger, he never came back. Now the vote would decide it all. Voral raised his long golden hand. "Let it be known," he said, "that Earth will now face full military action." He looked at each leader, one by one. "You must vote." High Lord Zenth of the Varn Empire stood first. His voice was sharp. "They are wild. They do not understand order. I vote for war." Next was Grand Speaker Entra of the Scylan clans. Her 8 arms waved in the air. "War. They must be taught." One by one, they spoke. Some used words, some blinked. Some just nodded. Not a single voice voted against war. All 27 said the same thing. War. Voral smiled. "Then it is done. Earth has chosen its fate." But just as he said those words, the lights flickered. The floor under their feet trembled for 1 second, just one. A soft sound echoed from the top of the hall like wind whispering. Then, voice came from nowhere. A voice that didn't belong. It was not alien. It was human. "We heard you," it said. Everyone froze. The guards ran to the edges of the room, scanning the walls. Nothing. No breach. No hack. No ship nearby. The voice had simply appeared. It spoke again. "You made your choice. Now you will see ours." Then silence. Dead heavy silence. Voral looked at his advisors. "Trace it," he growled. The machines tried. Every scanner searched the room, but there was no signal source. The message hadn't come from space or from inside the building. It had come from everywhere at once. "How is this possible?" Entra hissed. "Earth isn't even part of this council. They don't have access." One technician, sweating under his helmet, shook his head. "That voice didn't travel through our systems. It was already here." "What do you mean?" Zenth asked. "I mean," the technician whispered, "it wasn't a message we received. It was something already inside the council's entire grid." "How long has it been there?" Voral asked. The technician's eyes went wide. He checked the system logs. Double quotes. "Since 2 cycles ago," he said slowly. "That's before the vote was even planned." A cold feeling spread through the room. Earth had known before the council voted. Vorel stood tall. "No matter. This changes nothing. We are the council. We command the stars. Earth is one small planet." But somewhere deep in their minds, even the bravest leaders felt it. A tiny, growing fear. 3 days later, the first step of the plan began. The council launched Recon Fleet X7, a group of 50 elite ships. Their mission: scout Earth's outer defenses, test their strength, return with data. They sent the fleet through the Dragari Belt, using hidden jump gates. It should have taken 4 hours. They waited. And waited. And waited. On the 4th day, a strange thing happened. Every ship in the council's nearest starbase received a package. A small cube. It floated in through the hangars, through shields, through airlocks without touching a single wall. No alarms went off. No barriers stopped them. Each cube landed gently on the command decks. And opened. Inside each one was a single item, a council uniform, burnt and folded neatly. And a note that said, "They Never made it. Panic spread. What does this mean? Shouted a commander. Did Earth destroy the fleet? Others asked, but there was no explosion, no battle reports, no distress calls. Fleet X7 had not been destroyed, had been erased, no wreckage, no signals, no final messages. It was as if the fleet had been plucked out of time. Then came the next signal. A voice. Same as before. Same calm, cold human voice. Your vote has been counted, it said. Now we will count yours. The council scrambled. Ships were sent to protect the capital systems. Shields were raised. Fleets were recalled. Yet something worse began to happen. Not fire. Not war. Silence. Trade stations went dark. Patrol cruisers disappeared. Entire colonies reported shadows moving in space. Things they couldn't see. One report came in from a mining moon. The last message was, "We hear breathing outside the ship, but there's nothing there." That was the last anyone heard. Vorel called for an emergency meeting. Only 21 members showed up. 6 were missing. Where are the others? He demanded. No. One answered. They're hiding, Entra said. Cowards. But Zenth looked pale. No, he said. They're gone. Vorel hit the table. We are still strong. We will strike Earth directly. We will remind them who rules the stars. He turned to the Council's war strategist. Show me our attack plan. The strategist loaded the map. Suddenly red lights blinked. The system crashed. A new image appeared on the screen. Not from the strategist, but from Earth. It showed every Council planet, each one marked, each one labeled, target locked. Then a timer appeared. It began counting down from 7 days. Nothing else. No demand. No voice. Just the timer. Back on the Council homeworld. Panic spread. People tried to flee. Spaceports overflowed. Military leaders screamed orders no one followed. In the skies above, strange stars began to appear. They weren't stars. They were ships. Earth ships. No one had seen them arrive. No engines. No trails. They just appeared, silent, black, motionless. But every telescope confirmed it. They weren't Council models. They were Earth's. And they were everywhere. In the final moments of the meeting, Vorel looked around the room. He saw fear. He saw silence. He saw a broken Council. They should not have heard us. He whispered. Zenth spoke quietly. They didn't need to. They were already listening. Vorel stood still, then asked the question no one wanted to hear. What are we fighting? No one answered. Because in that moment, they all understood. They weren't fighting a race. They were fighting something they didn't understand. Earth had become more than a planet. It had become a silence that watched. And now, it was moving. The galaxy waited. It waited for Earth to speak. But Earth said nothing. No demands. No messages. No warnings. Just silence. After the Council's vote for war, after the mysterious disappearances and strange voice, everyone expected Earth to attack. Instead, nothing happened. For 6 long days, the galaxy stood still. The outer colonies of the Council stayed dark. Fleets stopped moving. Supply lines froze. Everyone held their breath. The silence became louder than any war drum. On the 6th day, the Council gathered again. Only 19 leaders showed up this time. The others had gone into hiding. Or worse. Vorel stood in the center, his voice shaky for the first time. We need answers. Entra, her arms folded tight, nodded. Maybe Earth is bluffing, Zenth growled. Bluffing? They erased a whole fleet without firing a shot. They're waiting for something, whispered a small creature from the Trull axis. They're letting us fear them. Vorel slammed his fist on the table. We are the Council. We cannot let silence control us. We must act. He turned to the war room. Send the scout ships. All sectors, now. Within hours, 50 fast scout ships left the Council systems. We're told to move quietly. No weapons. Just eyes and data. They had one task: find Earth's fleet. 14 hours later, one scout ship returned, only one. Its hull was covered in burns, like it had flown too close to a star. Its engines were fried. The ship didn't land by itself. It drifted into the hangar like something thrown. Inside, there was only one pilot. Was still breathing. But his mind was broken. He kept whispering the same words, over and over. We didn't see them. But they saw us. Doctors tried to question him. He only cried. What did you find? Vorel asked the medical officer. The officer shook his head. Nothing. No data. No recordings. Something wiped the ship clean. Something surgical. Zenth leaned in. They didn't destroy the ship. They let it return. They wanted us to. Hear him, Entra hissed. They're playing with us. And at that moment, alarms rang across the council tower. One of the outer defense stations, Zekrun Gate, had gone dark. No signal. No communication. No trace. They checked satellite images. Entire station was gone. Not destroyed. Gone. Like it had never been built. At the same time, across the stars, people began seeing strange lights. High above their skies. Still. Silent. UNMOVING.1. Farmer on the planet Grullan saw it first. He looked up while tending to his crops. A perfect black triangle hovered above the clouds. No sound, no exhaust. He blinked. It was gone, he told the local patrol. They laughed. Until the same shape appeared over their command base and erased it in one flash of white light. No heat, no explosion, just light. And nothing left. Back on Darren Prime, Vorel met secretly with his last loyal admirals. There were only 4. Our fleet is still strong, one admiral said. We have over 10,000 ships. We control 113 systems, said another. Earth controls one. Vorel nodded slowly. But Earth can be anywhere, and we have no proof of what we're fighting. He pointed at a star map. Our enemy does not speak. It does not show its weapons. It does not fire. He paused. Yet, we are losing. One admiral asked, should we surrender? Vorel looked up, eyes cold. We don't even know how. The next morning, a signal appeared. All across the galaxy. Every screen, every speaker, every data crystal. One simple message. We gave you silence. You used it for fear. Now listen closely. We are done watching. It was Earth's first official broadcast. After that, everything changed. In 10 major council systems, Earth ships appeared at the same time. No alarms. No warp signatures. No travel logs. Just presence. Ships shaped like knives. Ships shaped like spiders. Ships shaped like spinning glass. Some were massive. Others were the size of insects. All black. All quiet. They floated just above major cities, fleet bases, and trade hubs. No one knew how many there were. They couldn't be counted, because scanners couldn't detect them. They only saw them with eyes. People pointed at the skies and screamed. Ships floated above planets without moving. Hours for days, doing nothing. Just watching. The Council's armies waited for attack. None came. Not a single shot, not a single word. On the 3rd day, someone panicked. A junior council officer ordered a strike. 4 fighters flew toward the Earthship over Sector 7. They opened fire. Their lasers hit the Earthship. It didn't move. No damage. No sound. Then, suddenly, the fighters vanished. Mid-flight. No explosion. No crash. Just gone. Everyone on the ground stared in silence. Then a new message appeared only on the officer's screen. You fired first. We ended it. The officer fell to his knees. He begged for forgiveness, but no one came. Council Tower. Vorel held a new meeting. There were only 12 leaders now. He looked tired. Older. We have no options. Zenth shook his head. What do they want? Entra whispered. Maybe they don't want anything. What does that mean? She stared at the ceiling. What if this isn't revenge? What if it's a lesson? Silence. Then, a new signal appeared. In the war room. It was a live image, from the skies above the Council's own capital planet. The image showed a massive black ship floating silently. It had no weapons visible. No lights. Just shape and shadow. Then, on the screen, a timer appeared. It began counting down from 30 minutes. No one knew what it meant, but no one could look away. As the countdown reached 5 minutes, people fled. Ships filled the skies. Chaos spread. Some cried, some screamed, some dropped to their knees. One child asked her mother, "Will it hurt?" The mother didn't know what to say. When the timer hit 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds, the ship moved for the first time, just a little. Then it opened, not a weapon, not fire. It opened into a mirror, a massive, reflective surface. The entire city saw itself, millions of beings, staring at their own faces. Then, words appeared on the mirror's surface. Not spoken, not sent, just shown. This is what you look like when you choose war. And then the ship vanished. Gone. Without sound, without light, like it was never there. Across the stars, every other Earth ship did the same. Appeared. Watched. Reflected. Then vanished. No shots fired. No destruction. Just silence. And a mirror. The Council, broken and confused, met once more. Voral was the last to arrive. He sat quietly, head down. "I think I understand now," he said. "They never wanted war," Xanth asked. "Then why show force?" Voral answered, "Because we don't listen to peace. They gave us silence. We filled it with fear." He looked up. "We attached shadows. Now we live in them." Entra leaned forward. "So what do we do?" Voral replied, "We wait." In the far distance, beyond all Council space, Earth remained silent. But deep inside the void, their ships still watched. Not to attack, but to see what the galaxy would do next. Because sometimes, the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun. It's a mirror. And Earth had made the galaxy look into one. The stars were quiet, too quiet. After Earth ships vanished, the galaxy hoped it was over. But deep inside Council space, something new began. Warships started disappearing. Not from battle, not from damage. They simply stopped sending signals. Entire patrol units were lost. At first, people thought it was system failure. Then the black boxes returned. But the boxes didn't have recordings. They had whispers. Soft voices, echoes of terror. Some of them said the same words again and again. "It watched me. No eyes, but I felt it stare. I tried to run. My body stayed, my mind didn't." One cruiser, the Harridan, was found drifting near a dead star. No power, no life. Rescue ships entered the hangar. Everything was still. Inside, every crew member was seated at their post. No signs of struggle. Eyes open. Frozen. Breathing. Alive. But not one of them moved. Not one blinked. Not one spoke. Doctors ran tests. Their brains were awake. But their minds were gone. Like something had erased their will. They weren't dead. They just weren't there anymore. Council called it a virus. A weapon. But no tech could explain it. No scanner found damage. No computer found clues. And then came the message from Earth. Again. It appeared on every screen across the central systems. Just one line. "You call it a ghost, but it's your reflection, floating in silence." Panic grew. People refused to serve on ships. Captains fled their posts. Fleet strength dropped in half in 1 week. The Council offered rewards, but no one wanted to face the vacuum. Because now, the vacuum stared back. In a hidden lab beneath Council command, top minds gathered. They studied Earth's strange behavior. They watched every mirror message again. They traced the ghost, fleet paths, and they found something terrifying. Every planet where Earth's ships appeared had one thing in common. Not weapons. Not value, but fear. All those worlds had strong Military broadcasts before the sightings, they had screamed for war, for conquest, for destruction. Earth's ships didn't follow attack routes. They followed rage. The more the council roared, the more ships arrived. Vorel sat in the council tower alone. Only 8 leaders remained now. The others had vanished or locked themselves in bunkers. Even Entra had stopped showing up. Vorel looked at the stars. He whispered, "They hear us." His assistant stepped forward. "Who, sir?" "The humans," Vorel said, "or something else they've become." He stood up slowly. "We voted for war." They answered with silence. He pointed to the stars. "But the vacuum isn't empty anymore." On the 10th night, something new happened. A fleet of 40 council ships, tired of waiting, entered Earth's outer system. Their orders were clear: show strength. Force surrender. They never reached the planet. Instead, a fog filled their sensors. Not mist. Not gas. Just nothing. Nothing that spread across their radar. They lost signal, and then the galaxy saw something it would never forget. A live feed came from the fleet's rear ship. It showed the others one by one, vanishing into thin air. Not exploding, not destroyed, just fading. As if erased. As if they were never built. And then the camera on the last ship turned. The crew screamed, because behind them was a face. Not a human face, not alien, but something between. Large, still, featureless, a face with no eyes. But they still felt watched. The screen went black. Back at the tower, Vorel watched the footage. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. He simply turned off the feed and said, "Now we're seeing what they see." Some said the ships were haunted. Some believed Earth had unlocked ancient weapons. Others believed something worse, that Earth had changed, that silence had made them something else. Something more. Suddenly, survivors began to appear. Not many, just a few, dragged from space in escape pods, rescued from lost ships. They were alive, but they couldn't speak, not one word. Their mouths moved, their eyes cried, but no sound came out. Doctors checked their throats. Their minds. No damage, but whenever they tried to speak, something in the air would stop the sound, like the vacuum itself held their words. One scientist dared to ask a survivor, "What did you see?" The man grabbed a pen. With shaking hands he wrote on a tablet, "We were loud, it hurt us, then it showed us silence." He wrote again, "It's not war, it's a mirror. That takes sound away." Then he dropped the pen and didn't move again. Council panic turned to collapse. Worlds declared independence. People shut off comms. No one wanted to be heard, because they believed it now. Earth's power wasn't in weapons. It was in watching. In listening. And when it listened too closely, things vanished. Zenth, once the bravest warlord, now hid inside a lead vault. He refused to speak, refused to look at screens. He wrote his commands on paper only. When his guards came one day, they found the room empty. Only his uniform remained, folded on a chair, and a note. Too loud. In the far edges of council space, people began to whisper of the listening silence. They said Earth's ships no longer had names. They were just ears. Eyes. Floating shadows that waited. And once they noticed you faded. Not from life, but from memory. Vorel, the last full council leader, made one final call. He stood before a galaxy-wide feed, and for the first time, he whispered, "We chose war. We spoke too loud. And Earth showed us what silence can do." He looked tired. Old. Hollow. But maybe, if we stop shouting, they'll stop watching. He turned off the feed, then sat in the dark. Waiting. For silence. That night, Earth sent one final message, not through waves. Not through code, but through thought. Every being in the galaxy felt it in their mind, a soft, distant voice. "The stars are quiet now. Keep it that way." Then, nothing. No ships. No signals. Just peace. And for the first time in galactic history, there was no war. Because now, everyone was listening. For weeks, the galaxy stayed silent. No wars. No messages. No movements. It was like the stars were holding their breath. The fear of Earth's ships had forced peace. Every species whispered instead of shouted. Every screen stayed black. Every warship stayed in its dock. But silence is heavy, and some couldn't carry it for long. The planet Veltarian, home to the proud Volari race, was the first to break. Their leader, Premier Kelaz, refused to live in fear. He had never seen an Earthship. He thought the stories were lies. Humans cannot erase fleets with mirrors, he said on live broadcast. We are not children afraid of shadows. The Volari activated their fleet. Again, 100 ships rose into orbit. They lit up their skies. They shouted across the void. We are not afraid of your silence. We are Volari. Come and face us. It was the loudest sound in space since Earth's last message, and it was a mistake. 3 hours later, a strange light appeared above VEL-TA, our ion. Not a ship, not a mirror, not even a shadow. Just a ripple. Like the air was folding. The ripple grew. Spread. Until the entire upper sky shimmered. And then it spoke. Not through speakers. Not through minds, but through the bones of every living creature. Even those underground felt it. Even the children stopped breathing. The words came slowly. Heavy. Like a storm pushing through stone. You wanted sound. This is what it brings. Then the ripple opened, and something stepped through. It was not human. It was not machine. It looked like a tear in space. A shape that didn't have a shape. It walked without legs, moved without touching. And wherever it passed, sound died. Premier Kellas tried to speak. Again, he lifted the mic, but no voice came out. His words turned to dust. His eyes froze. Then he fell, not dead, not hurt, but empty. His guards ran but found they could not scream. The whole capital fell silent. In seconds, then, Veltarian vanished. From every map, every log, every memory, only one thing remained in orbit. A stone tablet, floating alone. With words carved deep. Let the stars stay quiet. Back in the council tower, the last leaders watched the news. They didn't cry, they didn't panic, they just stayed quiet. Because now they knew this wasn't just Earth anymore. Something had come from the silence. Something listening. And when the galaxy shouted too loud, it answered. Scientists from dozens of races tried to explain it. Some said Earth unlocked a dark part of space. Some said humans had merged with the vacuum. Others believed silence had become a living thing. But no one could test it, because anything sent to investigate never returned. A young council translator named Anea made a discovery. She played Earth's last real signal backward, slowed it down, filtered it, and heard something terrifying. Not words. Not language, but a heartbeat. Not human, not alien. Just steady and endless. As if the silence itself had a pulse. She wrote in her log, "This isn't just about Earth. We're not listening to humans anymore. We're hearing the thing that listens with them." She called it the Observer. And warned, do not call to it. Do not wake it again. But someone didn't listen. A small rebel station Zalate mocked the warnings. They thought the fear was overblown. They launched a pirate signal into deep space. A joke broadcast, full of laughter, insults, and fake screams. They even mocked the face seen by the council fleet. 1 hour later, all comes from Zalate went dead. When patrols arrived, the station was still there. No damage, lights on, food, warm. But no one was inside. No bodies. No signs of struggle. Just uniforms on the floor. And every screen on the station had the same message, heard you. The galaxy grew quieter than ever. Now, even thinking about war became dangerous. People turned off their own devices. Some planets banned music, Others outlawed yelling. Monasteries in deep space became full. Pilgrims traveled to the quietest moons. All because of one shared fear. The void was not empty. It had ears now, and it remembered. But what was it? Was it Earth? Was it something Earth awoke? Was it always there? No one knew. Even Earth's old enemies didn't understand anymore, because now, no one had seen a human in weeks. Not in person. Not on screens. It was like humans had stepped back and let the silence walk forward. One last act of hope came from a historian named Luro. He believed silence could be reversed, that if the galaxy showed peace, real peace, the observer might step back. He sent a small signal. Soft music. No words, just calm tones from ancient Terran pianos. He sent it into space. With one sentence, "We remember beauty too." Everyone waited. One day. Two. Nothing happened. Then, on the third night, his ship received a signal. Not from Earth. Not from the Council. But from the stars themselves. The music returned, but it wasn't alone. A second sound played beside it. A soft, steady breath, like the stars had inhaled. Then, silence again. Luro smiled and whispered. It listened. Then he turned off his signal, and never sent another. That was the last message the galaxy ever sent. Not from fear, but from respect. They had learned the final lesson. Not everything that listens wants to speak, and not every silence means peace. Sometimes it means power. Across the stars, Earth remained quiet. No war. No words. No ships. Only shadows. Watching. Waiting. Not to destroy, but to remind. The stars still burn. The worlds still turn. But now the galaxy walks with softer steps, because somewhere out there, silence still listens. In a frozen sector far from the core worlds, a small outpost called Relay 9 stood alone. It was once a listening post, designed to track enemy ships and catch pirate signals. Now it only listened to silence. The crew had not received the message in over 90 days. Their records were blank. Their screen stayed dark. Until one night, a light blinked. Not a full signal, just one small flash. And then, a second. The crew froze. No one moved. Engineer Rilo leaned forward, his eyes wide. The signal repeated. Blink, blink, pause, blink. No sound. Just flashes of light. Captain Valena ordered full focus. Track the pattern. Decode it, now. It wasn't easy. There was no voice, no data, no audio file. Just timing. But Rilo was smart. He slowed it down, marked every blink. And after 3 hours, he said one word: coordinates. The entire room fell quiet. He uploaded the result. A place in space no one visited in centuries. A small moon, orbiting a dead planet near Earth's old border. It had no life. No value. No reason to go. But the coordinates were precise. Valena gave the order. We go. The crew packed in silence. Their ship, the Gleaner, launched with 6 crew members. They didn't tell the council. They didn't activate long range comms. They flew quiet. Slow. No weapons online. Only scanners and shields. Every hour, someone asked the same question. What if Earth sent it? And every time Valena said the same thing. Then we'll listen. After 4 days, they reached the moon. No signals. No signs of power. But something was there. A single object, standing tall on the surface. A black tower, smooth, cold. Symbols. Almost invisible against the dark stone. Valena landed the ship 100 meters away. She stepped out first. The silence felt heavy. Not empty, like a presence was watching. She took a deep breath. Walked slowly toward the tower. No doors. No windows. Just one panel. It blinked once, then displayed a line of text. Not in any known language, yet every crew member understood it. One of you may enter. They looked at each other. No one volunteered, not because they were scared, but because they didn't know if they'd ever return. Valena stepped forward, I will go. She placed her hand on the panel. The tower opened, not with sound, but with motion. The door vanished like water. Velena stepped inside, and then it closed. The others waited, minutes, then hours, still, no sound, no movement. The ship's sensors showed no energy, no heat, just the tower, and then, after exactly 7 hours, the door opened. Velena walked out, but something was different. Her eyes were calm, her steps softer, and when she spoke, her voice was quiet, measured. It wasn't Earth. She sat down, hands folded, and whispered, "We've misunderstood everything." The crew leaned in. Velena looked at them slowly. Humans didn't build the silence. They found it. They didn't control it. They made peace with it. She paused. Long ago, deep in space, something listened, for eons, watching every star, every sound. When Earth joined the stars, they were loud, just like the rest of us. But then, something happened. Something terrible. She closed her eyes. Earth screamed in pain. And in that scream, the silence heard. The silence didn't destroy Earth, it spoke to them, showed them what happens when sound becomes violence. Earth was changed, not by power, but by understanding. Humans stopped talking to the galaxy and started listening to the silence, and in return, it listened back. Velena opened her hand. Inside it was a crystal shard, pale blue, warm. She placed it on the table, and it hummed, no sound. Just a feeling, calm, heavy, like peace had weight. "This is the gift," she said. "The last frequency." They brought the shard back to Relay-9, did not report to the council, instead. They built a small chamber, a place of quiet, no comms, no weapons, no commands, only listening. One visitor per day was allowed to sit with the shard. Those who entered came out changed. Some cried, some smiled, some said nothing, but all left quiet. News spread, not through channels, not through alerts, but by word of mouth. Peaceful word. Ships stopped patrolling. Wars paused. Broadcasts slowed. People across the galaxy began listening, not to Earth, not to stars, but to the space between. And then one day, the tower was gone. Not destroyed, not stolen. Just gone. Like it had never been there. Only a circle of smooth black stone remained, and a message carved deep. "You heard. Now listen forever." Back at the council, no one debated anymore. There were no votes, no speeches, just silent nods, and then they shut off their command channels. For good. The galaxy had changed, not by force, not by fear, but by silence. The silence that watched. The silence that waited. And now, the silence that taught. Ships still fly, stars still burn, but the air between systems feels different. Gentler. As if space itself is listening to the quiet hearts of those who now understand. And somewhere, far beyond black holes and forgotten suns, the observer waits. Not with anger, not with power, but with patience. Because now, finally, the galaxy has learned how to be still. Silence ruled the stars. Now. No wars, no messages, no screams. That it was not perfect, it was delicate, like glass stretched across the stars. No one dared speak too loudly. Until one day, deep in the edge systems, something answered. A quiet science ship called Beacon. Drift was monitoring gravity waves. Just routine work. No weapons. No orders. Just listening. Then it picked up a pulse. A soft signal. Strange, because no one used signals anymore. The team on board stared at the blinking screen. One line repeated over and over. "This is ESV Callisto. We are returning." The crew looked at each other. Callisto? That name was old. A Terran. Deep void vessel, lost almost 100 years ago. Before the council wars. Before the silence. Before fear. They searched the registry. Yes. ESV. Callisto, last seen entering the Nara Rift, never returned. Everyone thought it was destroyed. But now, it was calling back. We are returning. We are returning. We are returning. Captain Mara of Beacon Drift made a quick decision. She answered the signal. This is Beacon Drift. Confirm your identity. No response. Just the pulse. And then coordinates. Appeared. Not near them. Not near anything. Just empty space on the edge of the rift. She stared at the screen and whispered, "They're not asking for rescue. They're inviting us." 3 days later, a small exploration team reached the location. It was dark. Dead. Even light didn't move properly. And then, a door opened in space. Not a ship, not a portal. Just a crack. And through it floated a single vessel. Old, rusted, silent. It was ESV Callisto, but no damage. No distress. Just floating. Lights glowing faint blue. As if waiting. The explorers entered slowly, and what they found inside would change everything. The ship was empty. No crew. No bodies. No blood. Just footsteps still fresh in the dust. As if someone had just walked out. The walls were clean, the lights steady, and then they found the bridge. All systems were active, all logs intact, but the logs made no sense. Log 1, entering the Nara Rift. Strange readings, stars look wrong. Log 2, we see structures, but they're not made of matter. Log 3, something is communicating, but not with words. Log 4, they asked if we want to understand. We said yes. Log 5, everything is light. We are not afraid. Log 6, time is soft here. Log 7, we've changed. Log 8, we are returning. One final log. We are not alone anymore. We were never alone. Earth didn't make the silence. It heard it first. And now, we speak its language. The crew of Beacon Drift left in silence. They brought the logs back, shared them with the relay stations. And then, all over the galaxy, old Terran outposts lit up. One by one. Some had been silent for decades, some hidden, some forgotten. But now, they activated. Each one sent one short message. We are returning. What did it mean? Where had they gone? What had they seen? No one could explain it. But everywhere those signals reached, things began to change. Not violently. Not quickly, but deeply. On the desert moon of Asian, plants began growing overnight. On Drask 4, frozen oceans melted. But only in places the signal touched. People reported dreams. Visions. Strange music with no source. Some heard their own thoughts repeat in voices they didn't know. But no one panicked, because the feeling was always the same. Calm. Peace. Understanding. Back on Earth, if anyone still lived there, no one knew. The planet remained hidden. But now it was clear. Earth was not waiting. It was guiding. Through silence. Through time. Through the forgotten. Then came the final change. On the dark moon Ketherus, a child was born during the night of the return signal. She never cried. Not once. But when she opened her eyes, every screen in the city blinked. And one word appeared. Listen. The child was named Solia. She grew fast. Too fast. By age 5. She could speak every known language, but she rarely talked. Instead, she sat with the quiet, and when she did speak, people stopped breathing just to hear. One day, an old monk asked her, "What did they show you?" She smiled. Softly. And said, "They didn't show, they reminded." The galaxy forgot what it means to listen. A year later, she vanished. No signs of struggle. No ship. No trail. Just a warm wind that passed through the city, and a stone where her bed used to be, carved with a message. She has returned to the silence. Now the galaxy is not just silent. It is watchful. People speak softer. Leaders command less. Weapons are turned into tools. Ships carry books instead of bombs, because the stars are no longer empty. They are full of memory. And waiting. For what? No one knows, but maybe someday another signal will return. Not to warn, not to punish, but to remind that Earth didn't conquer the galaxy with war. It taught it to be still. It began with a shadow, one no sensor could read. No camera could focus. It appeared between two stars that had never had visitors. A cold place, forgotten by maps. Light bent around it like water. No signal. No sound. Just a presence. A large object floated near a dead asteroid field. Some believed it was a rock. Some thought it was an abandoned mining platform. Until it moved, without engines. Without force. Just glided silently through the void. A patrol drone picked it up. Sent a scan. Scan failed. Tried again. Still failed. Then the drone system shut off gently. Not by force. When recovered, the drone had no damage, but all its memory was blank. Except for one word burned onto its core drive. Listen. Within hours, whispers spread, not from people but from machines. AI cores began to hum low songs. Navigation systems began drawing invisible lines on charts, leading toward the unknown object. People called it many things. The listener, the reminder, the ghost ship, but it had no markings. No flag. No name. Just smooth white hull, curved like glass, endless and flawless. Then someone finally got close. A lone research vessel, Quiet Veil, drifted near. Its pilot, a woman named Era, felt it before she saw it. Like a thought, she said later. Like someone knocking gently inside my skull. Her ship's lights flickered. She expected death. Instead, the air grew warm. Calm. Like standing near a silent fire. The object turned, but not mechanically. It just faced her. She spoke into the calm. This is Captain Era of Quiet Veil. Do you understand me? There was no reply, only stillness. Then her own voice came back. Yes, I understand you. But she never spoke those words. She floated closer. And the object opened. Not with doors. But with space folding, as if a new hallway had always existed. Inside was not machinery. Not walls, but sky. A dome of stars. Endless. Ira stepped out of her suit. No helmet. No pressure. She could breathe. This isn't a ship, she said. It's a memory. Inside, she saw flashes. Moments. Earth, but not burning. Not at war. Peaceful Earth. Children playing in grass. Oceans reflecting blue skies. People hugging. Laughing. Listening. Then, voices whispered. They feared us because we listened. They attacked because they were loud. They destroyed themselves trying to drown silence. Era fell to her knees. She wept. Not from pain, but from knowing. When she returned to her ship, the object vanished. No trace. No data. Only one mark burned into her ship's panel. You carry silence now. She returned to the nearest star station, but Era was different. Her eyes deeper, her voice slower. She didn't speak much, but when she did, people listened. She only said one thing over and over. It's not Earth that changed. It's us. We are finally ready to hear. The object returned 3 more times. Always near broken places. A battlefield graveyard, a ruined trade moon, a drifting prison barge. Each time it opened once, let one person in. Each return changed. Never violent, never scared, just quiet. One of them, a boy named Darren, wrote a single sentence before he died of old age. The ship doesn't travel through space. It travels through silence. The council, what was left of it, met in secret. They were afraid, not of the object, but of what it meant. One said, if silence spreads, we lose control. Another replied, maybe that's the point. Then they received a transmission. One that made every leader sit down in silence. A voice they had never heard. Not human. Not alien. Not artificial. Just presence. You burned your stars with noise. Earth healed them with silence. Do not speak again unless you are ready to hear. The transmission ended. No repeat. No location. Just that one message. After that, the council shut down. Every banner lowered. Every fleet recalled. They didn't surrender. They simply stopped, because the truth was clear. Earth did not build the object. Earth only understood it. And now, so did they. The galaxy entered a new age, not of peace by force, but peace by choice. Ships still flew, colonies still grew, but slowly. Carefully. No more conquerors. Only visitors. People asked before landing. They left places cleaner than before. They listened before they spoke. The object? It still returns. No schedule. No pattern. Just appears where it is needed. To remind. To heal. To teach. And always, those who enter leave behind one word carved into stone, walls, or flesh. Stillness. Because in the end, the ship with no name is not a weapon. It is a lesson. And Earth? Earth was never a destroyer. It was the first student. The first to be quiet, the first to survive the scream, and the first to teach others. Silence is not the end. It is the beginning. It began without warning. No warships. No weapons. No explosion. Just light. Fading, one by one, stars across the galaxy blinked out. Not exploded. Not dead. Just gone. But the people weren't afraid. They watched with quiet hearts. Because somehow they knew this was not destruction. This was something greater. The first system to go dark was Nara Prime. Its sun vanished, but the people remained. Safe. No freezing, no chaos. Just a strange glow, soft, golden, everywhere. A calm voice whispered in every mind, "You are not alone." Then came Zentha 4, a war-torn moon once soaked in blood. Its sky turned black, but instead of panic, the old soldiers laid down their weapons. Some cried, some laughed, one whispered, "So, this is peace." Across the galaxy, scientists tried to explain it. They couldn't. Stars that vanished were still there by gravity, but no longer visible. And yet crops still grew, machines still ran. Children still played. It was like the galaxy was being covered by a gentle blanket, not to hide, but to rest. Then came the moment everyone felt. No matter what world, what language, what species. They all looked up. And Earth appeared. Not by ship. Not by broadcast. Just appeared, right above them, floating gently in every sky. Its blue oceans, its green lands, its glowing clouds. Every world saw it. At the same time. As if the galaxy had been folded, so Earth touched them all. A voice followed, not loud. Not soft. Just true. "We never wanted war. We only wanted to be heard. Now that you've learned to listen, we no longer need to speak." The stars are not gone. They are resting, like hearts after heartbreak. Then something beautiful happened. Each person on every world began to glow. Just a little. A soft light behind their eyes. Their skin, their breath. As if they had been lit from the inside. And they knew they were not just part of the galaxy. They were now part of something older. Something Earth had found in silence. A teacher on Vex 7 dropped her chalk. She turned to her students and smiled. "Today, we stop learning with books. Today, we remember." A fighter on Thalas Station, who once hated all peace, took off his armor and whispered, "I'm finally home." A child born on the mining colony Aura Belt, where no sky ever showed stars, looked up and said, "The stars are inside me now." And far away, the ship with no name hovered in the void. Still. Waiting. Watching. It didn't blink out. It didn't move. It just hummed gently. As if saying, "You're ready now." On Earth, what was left of it, people stood at the oceans. The trees danced in windless air. The animals gathered. Quiet. Mountains began to glow from deep within. Not fire, but memory. Because Earth was not dying. It was leaving. Not the people, not the land, but its burden. The pain of the past, the wars, the cries. Burning skies. Earth let it all go. And then, in a moment that lasted forever, all stars returned. Brighter. Clearer. But softer. They no longer screamed. They no longer burned. They simply existed. And so did everyone else. Trade started again, but with kindness. New ships flew, but with purpose. Borders faded. Languages blended. Races that once warred now sang together, not because of fear, but because of understanding. And Earth? It drifted quietly across the stars. Not central. Not powerful. Just present, like a memory you never forget. It stopped being the planet. It became a promise, a reminder that silence is not weakness, that listening is not surrender, that stillness is power. People asked, "Will Earth speak again?" And the answer was always the same: it doesn't need to. Because now, the galaxy speaks softly too. In the final archive of galactic history, one last entry was made. Written not by hands, not by code, but by thought. It reads, "The Council chose war. Earth chose silence. We tried to break Earth. Instead, it healed us. Now the stars no longer shout, they hum. Not because Earth won, but because Earth waited."